How's it going, everybody? It's Patil Fame, and we are back with another FPL video. And today, I have an interesting video for you for the upcoming FPL season. Two secret drafts that I've kind of seen developing potentially little inspiration from the FPL Twitter space, as it were, or whatever the website's called now. But also kind of just tinkering with them a little bit and kind of changing them and putting my own little spin on them as well. One involves using the bench boost, and the other one involves having a very stacked midfield, but with João Pedro's price could make Mo Salah an option from the start. If you do enjoy these videos, make sure to hit that like, subscribe, and make sure to give us a comment down below. What players are you still debating for your upcoming lineup ahead of game week 1? So, without further ado, let's see what the first team looks like. So, as you can see on my screen here, we have one of the two options here. This is the Mo Salah draft that I kind of designed here. It can change based on certain player price points, but I think it looks really, really good. It still has triple Arsenal in there. It has double United. Yes, you don't have Bruno Fernandes in there, but you do sacrifice him for the likes of Mo Salah and can get Bruno Fernandes later when he does play Forest, and we can show you how to do that. As we used FPL.team here. Fantastic website if you want to check out your kind of weeks going ahead. Really, really cool stuff. So we got Onana in goal and Areola. I think that's the most common, popular kind of combination there. If you wanted to go slightly cheaper, I would probably recommend the likes of Sam Johnston at Crystal Palace. He seems to be the most nailed on. You can go for Jordan Pickford as well. I've also seen that maybe Matt Turner gets in and there's some rotation with him and Pickford that could prove to be quite good. But I think Onana as a set and forget at 5 million just seems to be the most likely, at least for me. You can change it up here. Estupiñán and Gabriel don't really need as much explanation, but this could be Saliba, you know, it could be Zinchenko if he was fit. He's not, but it's going to be Gabriel or Saliba there. Estupiñán, most likely as well. And I've gone with Kerkis. Now, this is an interesting one, and we'll come on to him just now here. He's a 4.5 million defender that's super attacking. Bournemouth's style of play is going to be much more aggressive than what it was last season. They're up against the West Ham team, which hasn't performed well in preseason and still doesn't have any signings as of yet that are probably going to feature for this weekend. Yes, I know they've signed, I believe it's Edson Alvarez, who's going to be in a midfielder. Could be an option for them, but might not be in time to go straight into the team for game week 1. West Ham don't score many goals, and Kerkis is quite attacking, so he could definitely be involved as they are left-hand biased, and he is on the left side of defense and will fly forward and get attacking returns. But again, this could just be Tarkowski. This could just be any defender that you want for basically 1 to 2 game weeks. We also have Baldock, who I'll mention as well. He has Forest away, so when Kerkis does play Liverpool away, we can just put Baldock straight in there. No problems there as well. We can't put Kabore or Bayer because they have a blank as they play each other in game week 2. So we wouldn't want to put them in there. So we want to make sure that we at least have Baldock in there. If you did, you know, change the goalkeeper and went for a 4.5, you know, you could upgrade Baldock or Kabore to another defender of 4.5, and you can go like Tarkowski and Anderson from Crystal Palace or something like that if you wanted to go that route. Midfield, pretty standard to be honest. Saka, Martinelli, especially with Jesus out. I think Martinelli's going to be great. Or it's going to at least see more minutes. He didn't perform as well FPL-wise when Jesus was out, so just one thing to keep an eye on, but I think him and Saka seem to be quite nailed. Rashford, pretty straightforward, probably going to be playing up front the first game as there's a little bit of an injury to Rasmus Højlund, who's newly signed, who potentially might not be fully fit for the next couple of weeks. Karim Mitoma, again, great fixtures off the start, but could also easily be any, you know, 6.5 million mid. There are quite a few of them. Eze and Bomo, just to name a couple. And then Mo Salah, the main man, with the idea of captaining him in game week 2 at home to Bournemouth. I think that is potentially a overlooked idea at the moment. I certainly overlooked it for the vast majority of this preseason, but I'm looking at this draft and I like it a lot. But it does all stem on the fact if João Pedro is an option and will be playing. Now, you don't necessarily need him for very long. You only need him to basically be involved in the first 2 game weeks, and here's why. João Pedro plays Luton at home, Wolves away. He did play Brighton's most recent preseason game in the number 10 role, and for 5.5 million for a super attacking team playing a newly promoted team that everyone is basically predicting to go down, could be fantastic. Also was on penalties, by the way. Pascal Gross was on the pitch, and João Pedro did take a penalty over him. And then Erling Haaland, not really much to be said there. But basically the idea would be into game week 2, we would captain Mo Salah. Haaland would get the vice captaincy. We could put Baldock in instead of Kerkez. And then we can just pretty much keep it there. If Turner was like a guaranteed start and you wanted to gamble and start with him, he's currently an Arsenal player, so you can't do that as of yet. So it's going to be close, but if that was an option, then maybe you start with him over Areola. They are still interested in Dean Henderson, but that might go all the way down to the wire. So then we would captain Mo Salah in game week 2. And then in game week 3, what you could do is you can get Bruno Fernandes back by getting rid of Salah. Let me just increase the price here. So we get Bruno Fernandes back. Haaland would become our captain. If João Pedro was maybe not necessarily doing what he needs to, we can then upgrade him to somebody else. Maybe Gabriel Jesus is back in time. Ollie Watkins' fixtures start to get a little better. You know, Burnley away, he was very good away from home. Liverpool don't have a very good defense. Crystal Palace at home, there's still a decent run of fixtures there. I think he could be an option. A lot of managers are starting him from the beginning, so you could go with him. You can also go with Jackson, who seems to be doing quite well. Again, Chelsea's run of fixtures are great from game week 3 to game week 8, so maybe going with him as well. And then if you wanted to, you could take a hit. You could get rid of Kirkis because you do have the extra bit of money, and you can go with Ben Chilwell, throw him in over Baldock, and then you still have the 1.5 million in the bank if you wanted to upgrade something elsewhere. That does require a -4, and it's not, you don't have to necessarily go for the forward per se. Because if you wanted to, instead of Jackson, if I change this back to João Pedro, I can do just the 2 transfers, and I could technically play Kirkis if I wanted to. Let me just change. I'll change Baldock back to Kirkis. You could technically play him if you wanted to. Or at least keep him there, and it would just be for the 2 free transfers. If you feel like, hey, look, Chelsea's attack isn't great, but I do like Ben Chilwell, who looks to be very, very good in preseason. And again, that team looks quite strong. And then going from there, you can kind of figure it out. Or if Bruno Fernandes doesn't look great, you can go for a Chelsea midfielder. Maybe that's an option there. You can also potentially go for a different United midfielder. That is another option. Maybe Phil Foden raises his hand. He could be an option there as well. Or maybe you just keep Salah. Who knows? In that instance, basically what you would have to do is just rewinding it back here. If you did keep Mo Salah and you wanted to basically kind of change things around, you would have to sacrifice one of your players. So maybe Martinelli is becoming a bit of a, you know, kind of a minutes risk. You could potentially downgrade him to the likes of let's say a James Maddison or maybe Mbomo. You know, Mbomo's first couple of fixtures are a little bit on the trickiest. I mean, the Spurs fixture for sure. What does he have? Who does he have in Game Week 2? Oh, he's Fulham away. It could be a decent one there for him. But again, you can get rid of, let's say Martinelli wasn't doing it. You could put in Mbomo. Oh, I need to do that in Game Week 3. Or Game Week. Yeah, no, I was right. Game Week 3. Mbomo in there, and then you could upgrade one of your 4 million defenders, like a Baldock, like a Kabore, whoever, and then change them to to Ben Chilwell. Or again, if you were like, I'm tired, João Pedro doesn't seem to be doing it, then you can go for a Jackson or another 7 million. Maybe Rasmus Højlund's doing well at this time, because you would still have that United slot available. So that is one of the drafts that is quite cool. I really like it a lot. It does allow for Salah, who is undoubtedly the best captaincy option in Game Week 2, especially with the amount of attacking returns he has gotten preseason. Could be quite good as well. It could also be another thing where you potentially start with another Liverpool player too. Maybe, you know, like a Diogo Jota who's been firing. He is, at the moment, where is he? Unless he's under like Diogo or something. Diogo. Oh, Diogo, he's under Diogo J. Again, 8.0, 8 million midfielder. Could be an option, has scored a boatload of goals, and he could be a potential option that you go for instead of, if you feel like Martinelli's minutes might be risked, and you want to start with somebody who's been quite explosive from the start. Or maybe you make that switch in Game Week 2. You could do that right away. That would mean that you would only have one free transfer to get rid of potentially one of them and then go for somebody else, but you would have no money in the bank to do that. So that is potentially something you could weigh up. Moving on to the second draft. Now, this draft, we talk about it a lot. We discuss it, we think about it, we talk about it some more, and then we think, that's probably a waste of a chip. However, this is a bench boost Game Week 1 draft. Now, normally in most seasons, you think, well, it's not great in a bench boost, wasting it, whatever. But according to James Planet FPL, they did a chip talk early on in the season. Make sure to go check them out. Make sure to be a patron for them because they have fantastic content for all tiers. They have brilliant work. But James talked about a bench boost in Game Week 1 is more probable this season than in any other. And the main reason for that is because it doesn't look like we're going to get a super massive double game week. And if it is going to happen, it's probably going to be in Game Week 37. Now, why is that problematic? Well, the reason that's problematic is because in Game Week 37, most teams are pretty much set in their ways and have already got their position kind of locked up. I mean, last season, Game Week 37, Man City had already won the league at that point. United was pretty much guaranteed for top 4. Newcastle was pretty certain there as well. I think the only real thing that it came down to on the final day, basically, was I think it was just like 8th, basically. 7th, 8th, 9th was like the Conference League spot, and then relegation as well. But you're probably not going to be picking from relegated teams. But again, you're going to be playing potentially with some second-string teams. Now, there's some teams in Europe that could, this could be an issue for. Brighton found they struggled with it a little bit. Aston Villa are in Europe this season. Newcastle are newly in the Champions League as well. Arsenal could be making a late run in the Champions League. Who knows? Same with United. City will definitely be in there for sure. So getting the bench boost out of the way isn't necessarily the worst idea in the world. And this is a team that I've kind of drawn up here. There's 0.0 in the bank, so you can shuffle some things around. And this is the team I've gone with. So I've got Onana back in goal, but I've gone with Johnston as the backup goalkeeper. He just seems to be the best 4.5 for me. He's playing a Sheffield United team that is losing Sander Berge, potentially to Burnley. By the looks of it, that might be a deal done by the time they go to play each other on the weekend. And I think Palace are looking pretty good, which is why I've also gone with Anderson as a double up in defense. And we've got Eze, who's another 6.5 midfielder that we discussed earlier as well. And then you'll see some similar names: Gabriel, Estupinian, Mitoma, João Pedro, Erling Haaland, Martinelli, Saka, Rashford. You don't even lose out that much on, kind of other players in the team. The only thing that this team would probably be missing is a couple Liverpool assets if you wanted them, and not really all that much else. So there's, some managers starting with Trent. Some managers want Phil Foden. These sorts of things could be moved around. Like, I could potentially upgrade Eze by 1 million, drop Watkins down to the likes of a Jackson, or even go Solanke as like a one-off 6.5 million. He's an option. Again, plays West Ham at home. There are many different ways you can kind of maneuver this around. Eze could also be upgraded to the likes of Maddison, who's looked quite good. Ollie Watkins could also be Could also be a Liverpool forward as well if you think that Chelsea might concede. Again, it could just be Jackson as well. We could then put more money in defense because, we have Tarkowski and Anderson on the bench. Watkins could be slightly downgraded, and we can go to the likes of Ben Chilwell if you wanted to go that route. But this team, on the whole, it's got triple Brighton that looked quite good. Two with the most likely to play, and João Pedro, who's seen significant minutes in preseason and took a pen over Pascal Gross. So that looks good. Watkins and Haaland, are definitely going to play, and Haaland's going to be our captain. Saka, Martinelli, they're not going to miss out. Rashford, Shaw, Onana, they're just starters, assuming they're fit. Gabriel, only left-footed center back. And he's going to be there. Anderson, Eze, main starters. Tarkowski's going to be fit for the weekend, from what we can tell. And Johnston's been told to be a guaranteed starter for Roy Hodgson. So this team looks pretty good. You can change Watkins as well. Like I said, you can even go for Wilson. You can go for Isak. I think Isak's potentially more likely to start, but does have a chance of being hooked early. Watkins, the only reason I put him in there is because a lot of managers are going for him. I think he's at like the 20-ish percent ownership. Yeah, 23.4%. And again, an away fixture is something that he was very good in the run-in last season. And Newcastle, for the most part, yes, it was in America. They were very good at home last season, but it does seem like they might be slightly leakier this season. So we'll have to wait and see. If they're going to play a bit more adventurous, Tonali's a bit more of a kind of a ball-playing midfielder rather than kind of like the more aggressive one. Yes, he can do the defensive work, but he's not going to be someone in there who's just going to be literally designed to run around and tackle people, which is what Joe Linton does. And again, their formation could change for that as well. But I think Watkins has done quite well. We also haven't mentioned Diaby as well, another 6.5 million midfielder, could be playing basically alongside Watkins, is another option there as well in the 6.5 million category. But again, I think this team looks really, really good. You have triple Arsenal, triple United. Yes, it might not necessarily be the most optimal. Again, you can take 0.5 million off Onana, change him for another 4.5 million goalkeeper. That could be Pickford, and then upgrade Eze, let's say, to a Anthony at 7 million. These are definite options, but you have Haaland in there. You have triple United. You have triple Arsenal. You have triple Brighton. You have triple Palace, but that's for your bench. And then you have two one-offs in Tarkowski and Watkins. Yes, there are a lot of eggs in one basket, but this is a team that you can definitely change up if you want to, because the price points are there. The money is spread around in such a way to whereas there are such good individual one-off fixtures that the team could be quite flexible. And even going into game week 2, both your goalkeepers don't have the greatest fixtures, but you'll probably play Onana just because. Eze plays Arsenal, as does Anderson. Tarkowski has Villa away, so you'd be more than happy to potentially bench them. And everyone else has good enough fixtures where you're going to play them. The only thing with this team is that you don't have the option of having Salah as a captain, so you're going to go with Haaland. Haaland does have a home fixture, so that's not the end of the world. And then in game week 3, Watkins, Burnley away, looks pretty good. Maybe you want to get rid of some of your Brighton assets. Maybe that's an option that you want to go for. That could be something that you want to do. Maybe you think Man United defense just isn't good enough, and then this is where you want to go to Chilwell. Well, you could do Shaw straight to Chilwell. That is an option you can do. Or if, like I said, if you wanted to downgrade Onana, just leave 0.5 million in the bank. That gives you the options as well. And then you can just kind of mess around with certain things. Maybe you think that Brighton's defense isn't as good, or maybe Arsenal's defense wasn't as good because it was a stretch where the home defense wasn't as good, and you want it. And you think, well, Wolves aren't scoring any goals at the time of recording. They literally, like, not much, like, probably say what, an hour ago, they announced that Lopetegui was just gone. Basically, he's just leaving. So you could put James Tarkowski in there if you really wanted to. Wolves at home, assuming he's fit. And you could just kind of change things around. Maybe you just don't like the way Watkins is playing, or maybe Jackson's, done well in the Liverpool game, done well in the West Ham game. Maybe this is where you go for him. You get the 1 million, and then you can upgrade Anderson to Chilwell, and you throw Chilwell in there and just leave Tarkowski on the bench, or you could just wildcard it all away if you really, really wanted to in game week 2. That is an option that you could do as well, although I still think you're probably going to have similar-ish players. You're probably going to still have Onana, you're probably still going to have Gabriel, Estupiñán, Mitoma, Martinelli, Saka, Rashford, Haaland. Probably Watkins will stay, Eze will probably stay as well. And these sorts of things are definitely an option for you. So those are the two drafts. I think they're pretty secretive, to be honest. So if you want to go crazy, these are the ones to definitely do it. Make sure to leave a comment as to what you think about the drafts and what you're potentially considering ahead of Game Week 1. Welcome to the Fantasy Football Scout members area, the one place that you need to be tuned into for the upcoming FPL season. It has a wide variety of resources and tools that will help improve your FPL game today. It has a bunch of different members-only articles written by some of the best FPL managers across the globe, heat maps for all the players and positions, as well as player comparison tools, which will help you see side by side who is going to be more effective for your FPL team, fully customizable stats tables powered by Opta stats, and much, much more. Use the link down in the description below so that you can get access to the Fantasy Football Scout members area today. It'll help improve your FPL game. And that's going to do it for the Secret Drafts video. If you did enjoy the video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe channel if you are new, and make sure to leave a comment down below as to which players you are still considering for your Game Week 1 draft. We will be doing a stream on Thursday. That'll be Thursday, EST evening time. We'll be looking at basically what my final thoughts are for my draft. I'm going to be doing it so that the evening before. Remember, Man City and Burnley do play on Friday evening UK time, so the deadline will be sometime in the afternoon to early evening for those in the UK. For those on the East Coast, it'll be around 1 or 2-ish in the afternoon. So make sure to keep an eye on that. We will, like I said, be streaming on Thursday. I'll make a post about that, so make sure to come check us out for that. And I'll post that VOD basically as a live as well. If I stream on Twitch, I'll post it on YouTube, and I'll be in the comments to make sure I answer any questions ahead of the deadline for those that are interested. So thank you all for watching. Like I said, make sure to like, favorite, comment, subscribe. You know the deal. PilotFlame226 on all platforms. And until next one, take care.